Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Hearthstone. So we've got to get 11 more minions killed and one more mage victory, so we'll almost certainly get that done possibly in this next game, so let's deal with that. So the big thing I have on my list is what I hinted at last time. There was an article that asked developers what they wanted Steam to improve in 2017. And so, what they responded with is they wanted the review system improved. Now, in general, the dev suggestions aren't completely away from what a end user's goal would be, or what would be good for the end users. There's just a few places where they might open up new avenues for abuse because the review system is already open up for some avenues of abuse. There has been definitely a lot of abuse of fake reviews. Steam finally kicked somebody off Steam for making fake accounts and having fake reviews. There has been most definitely a problem of buying reviews by giving Steam keys out to people that are either directly paid or most definitely at least influenced to say something nice by getting the game for free. There has been a issue of keys coming in from areas that we just don't know, which assumedly the idea is if a key is coming into Steam and the developer in Steam doesn't know where that key came from, it's almost certainly because the key was bought on on a foreign version of Steam. The key was bought, and then they manipulated the value transfer rate to convert it from something like, I don't know, say Korean dollars, whatever the Korean dollar amount, whatever Korean increment of money is called, to maybe Australian dollars, to maybe the British pound, to maybe America, and maybe they just did that. That's the only thing that really makes sense, unless there actually is some kind of farm out there that has cracked or figured out the algorithm on how keys are generated, assuming they're not just random numbers, and they're like bit mining or something like that, and it's probably not the case. I should have played that guy.
Accidents, they happen, you know?
So yeah, that's a problem with this review system. One of their suggestions would actually make things worse. They're talking about how, like, Steam now highlights things from the last 30 days, which is good in general, except for in the cases where the creator of the video game might have a reason why they've done something horrible in the past, and then it starts to fade after 30 days. So, for instance, if the game had gone from free to play to pay to play, and then back to free to play, the reviews from going to pay to play and really irritating their customers after 30 days start to disappear, and the only way that doesn't occur is if somebody is constantly putting a new review up, reminding people that, oh, don't forget this company already has done something a little fishy, so don't trust them. They also suggested a version system for some of similar ways, and the version system idea is an awful idea, honestly, because versions of games change constantly, and say your game is awful, you could just update it by changing one little thing, maybe just a piece of text in the files, and then say it's the next version. and then you could always have no reviews, or just the good reviews you're paying for, you're putting in there yourself, and all the bad reviews just get buried and hidden. So the version system gives a line of control, and then implements this idea that the creators of the game could constantly get away from their mistakes by just releasing a new version. In general, I think the new review system is somewhat helpful, but mostly hampered by funny reviews and fake reviews and just things in general that aren't very helpful. I've been very lucky, I suppose, because when I go look at a review on a game, I specifically look at the bad reviews, and the bad reviews always seem to explain exactly what the problem is. So I think the review system kind of works. There is an idea of Steam incentivizing players to leave more reviews, because I don't leave reviews, and I have an invested interest in leaving reviews. In theory, I could point everybody to a YouTube video and probably get flagged for spamming or something of every game I've played, and try to get more views that way and put a review out, and see that if Steam was going to allow something like that and assure me they want something like that, there's probably a lot of people who could do that. And then there could be a whole other section. It's like YouTube video reviews or let's plays of this game. Deal 2 damage. I've got to play this, but even if I do play this, it won't help me. I've got to do this and then end the turn. So yes, I agree with them. They should improve the review system. I don't know if I agree with the way they want to do it. The next thing that developers wanted improved is that the Steam store doesn't highlight the top sellers. I think, honestly, it probably has already done that, because when I'm looking at the new Discovery update, I don't feel like I'm getting the same games over and over again. Before, it was Rocket League, it was Deus Ex Mankind Divided, it was just like the top sellers, 100% of the game. And you can still find that easily if you're looking for that. But most people don't need awareness of that. And I am getting a bunch of RPG makers and weirdness things based on the games I've played and the games I've seen. And it even feels like they're starting to specifically mention and remark why I'm seeing specific games on the new update. So I'm not sure this is as much a valid argument as the others. There's certainly probably things that could be improved on the front page of Steam. The games that are getting highlighted to me often aren't these like amazing games that I haven't ever heard of before. They are clearly just mediocre games I haven't heard of. But I think particularly the way my wish list is set up and the way my library already has so many games on it, I wouldn't be surprised if there's close to no games on Steam that I haven't heard of that are great. The next thing they wanted to see improved is to give curators an incentive to curate. There's curator groups in Steam that is a completely dead feature, really. There's no reason. The interface is bad. People aren't seeing the curators because, mostly I would say because the curators' feeds aren't really highlighted anywhere. I will take that.
Spells are fun. So fun.
So, yeah. And this, like the review system, if they came out with some kind of trading card rewards, some kind of discount things for writing reviews, that would be good. I'd hate to see Steam turn into this like a Lowe's Home Improvement where every time you're in the store they give you a 10% discount and you get 10% discounts all the time, and all it really means is that everything is just marked up 10% more than it needed to be. And like grocery stores are like that too. You have to have their card to get the discounts on things, otherwise you're paying the extra price. I would hate the Steam to be like that, where it's just like you've got to write a review if you want that 10% discount. But on the other hand, a lot of people probably do have free time, and I could see a lot of people taking them up on that offer, and then a lot of other people not taking them up on that offer because it would just... do I want Forgotten Torch?
Spells are fun.
So
fun.
yeah, I could see.
I'm ready.
I could see like getting a discount or getting trading cards at least. And if we go down the trading cards route, then so much would have to be done. So much work if you're getting one trading card per review or per curator thing. I suppose in both cases there's a very good counter argument to either one of those, because unless you write a good review that somebody finds helpful, you're just further filling up the Steam website with garbage, and so then it would get down to you've got a review that somebody else finds helpful, then it would just get down to people begging their friends to mark their reviews as helpful, and a tit for tat thing. And in the end, it's just all going to become this game that gets played for trading cards or for other things. And we probably would be better off of just having the passionate people write reviews and deal with it that way. Some of the developers are talking about how some people don't have valid reviews in their minds because they're they're doing it because of like vote bombing, or just because they have a personal problem with the game or the creator, or they're just because they're a troll. I think if somebody's gonna put their effort to do that stuff, you need to take it seriously. I'd hate to say the customer is always right, because honestly I feel like the customer is often not right, but I also would hate it even more to say the video game dev is always right, because I don't believe it to be the case. I honestly believe that they're writing off things. I mean, Jim Sterling is a troll, but we've seen that his fair and accurate criticisms are also written off as being just trolls right away too, and it's just not the truth. Job done. And I don't have a better way to say that. Jim Sterling acts like a troll. He is playing a character. I think the character he plays honestly isn't really very far away from who he is really. But but he does do troll things, definitely. That's his humor and that's his thing. PewDiePie in the same way does troll things. So it's done a lot. And then the final thing developers wanted to have done is to clean up. Let's see. Can I place this? And do
Can
this.
I light your fire?
I'm ready.
Kill this.
Job's done.
There we go. Last thing devs would like to have improved, according to this article, is cleaning up early access. Now, on this one in specific, they're saying better explain what early access means and such. I think they're not going far enough to clean up early access. I think early access, I've suggested that Steam should have a second section called something like Vapor for free online Java-based games. Games that are only going to take an hour to play all the way through. Games that really have no business being on Steam at all. But draw cards until you have one that isn't a dragon. Let's see. Next secret you play is add a random spell to each person. Deal 5 damage.
I wonder.
I must remain hidden to remain free.
Nature will rise against you.
Let's see.
Wanted, dead or alive. Spectacular.
Deal 9 damage randomly split between all enemies. So
Spectacular.
I think in the same way early access just on Steam should be its own separate thing. I don't feel like any early access game should be on the front page of general Steam stores. Like, I don't go to a grocery store and say I want some eggs and they go, well, we can give you some early access eggs. Here's a chicken and a rooster. Take these home and maybe they'll eventually get together and give you some eggs. That's like, no. When I go to a storefront in the real world for physical things, 100% of the things for sale
Do you hear it
are
call?
done. They're built. They're ready to be sold. If I want to go see something that's half built, then I have to go to some weird workshop place where I can see the things, the wood being cut and planed. Here we go. If I hit myself twice, I lose, by the way. And do I have anything that would do 2 damage to everybody?
You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
Spectacular.
If I could do just a little bit more damage. Let's see.
Nature will rise against you.
Time runs out on me.
My
There we go.
to you.
So, yeah, early access needs to be its own thing. If Steam separated its things into 3 things, honestly, it needs to separate itself into 4 distinct things, honestly. It needs completed games. It needs very old games, so a Steam Classic side. It needs early access, and in the early access, we also have Steam Greenlight. And it needs the Vapor games, or the Mist games. I wouldn't call it Mist, but I'd call it Vapor. that is in internet games, small games, games that just
You asked for
don't
it.
make sense. And I could even see them adding a monthly subscription service to Vapor where you could get like one free game from there too. And those small games, if they're being purchased for 50 cents, that would help filter out the average price of a game on Steam proper. And they'd have over 1,000 games probably of each of those, because they have over 4,000 games. They also have Steam movies, which that was an interesting argument I had heard, because even though nobody really buys videos on Steam, there probably are videos on Steam with nudity in them, and then there's still being kind of halfway in and halfway out about games with nudity in them, which I think is probably the right response, though. They need to take their time and learn to do it the right way. That I can't really hold it against them. Let's see. Nintendo Switch will have no video apps at all at launch. So, if you needed another reason not to buy the Nintendo Switch, that might be for it. You can add Mii's, they've said, but that seems like it's gonna be a per game thing, so it doesn't feel like a feature that they're really gonna emphasize or push. Next secret you play this turn. I keep playing
Tonight, a tale
running into this card, and I never have any mats.
lonely anymore. Spells are fun. So fun.
Job's done.
So, that is a pretty big oversight, and it kind of makes me wonder if there's what codecs can be supported by the GPU and the CPU by default in the Nintendo Switch, because you can put SD cards in it, and it seems like almost certainly you're going to have a case with micro SD cards, not full-size SD cards. Like that is definitely going to be an issue. If you want to play one game, you're going to switch one out for the other, and then it also is going to be a slight issue of, are those games installing on the internal software, almost, because I kind of think they are. And so they're talking about how the Zelda game is going to be 40% of the space, so day one you install Zelda on there, it's taking up 40% of the space or more if there's compression going on. And then let's say you got 3 or 4 other games on there, your whole system may be full with installed games, and I still suspect you're going to end up having to put the cartridge in to actually start the playback.
Excuse me, you are
So,
on fire.
because I don't think it's going to be a case of, well, you installed it once and we're not going to verify it, because then it would just be trading parties between kids at schools. It's like, hey, let me borrow your game so I can install it, and then you can have it right back, and that doesn't make sense. But for Nintendo, this screen is, I believe, capable of doing 1080p, although I'm not sure that's the actual native resolution. It may not be. It may be only a 920 resolution screen, which still, compared to most things for the size of the screen, you're not doing an awful job to get a personal video player. Something that's a bigger monitor than what you'd get on a cell phone, not as big as a tablet, but also not possibly as expensive as a tablet, or at the very least integrated into the Nintendo services. So I could see a lot of that, and it seems like almost certainly this game, the Switch is, if you have at least,
I wonder.
well, that's not gonna work.
The Feast of Souls begins now.
Yeah, sorry, went quiet there. I'm falling asleep. It's 11 p.m. in the evening. I didn't get any recording done yesterday. I didn't get any recording really done today. I'm really blowing it. I need to start doing Lego Indiana Jones, which is the next game I think I'll play is in the Lego series. As I'm wrapping up the Lego series. But come on, I need a victory.
Can I light your fire?
So let's keep moving. But yeah, if they hacked the Switch and it could play DVD files, MKVs, and you could just rip DVDs and Blu-rays and break all that encryption stuff and violate the DMCA and put those files on a micro SD card and then hand that video to put those SD cards in a hacked Switch and watch those videos, you've got a system that has a lot more use than half of the things they're advertising with the Joy-Cons. How long have we been playing? Oh, seriously. I guess we are going to have enough to talk about on the third one. Third recording. We might even go a fourth recording, even though I'm falling asleep like crazy. Maybe I'll stand up and do some jumping jacks. We didn't get the third game done with Mage, but next time we'll do 20 Death Rattle minions, and at the very least then that would only leave me with one victory necessary. That's going to be it for this recording. I'm sorry I'm dropping the ball here. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.